Since Wicked is coming up in theaters real soon, which I am so looking forward to, let us head on the Yellow Brick Road once again to Emerald City as I re-review the classic itself, which recently celebrated its 85th anniversary this year, The Wizard of Oz. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Noel, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1939 musical fantasy flick The Wizard of Oz, originally produced by MGM and directed by Victor Fleming, with screenplay by Noah Langley, Florence Ryerson, and Edgar Allan Wolfe. Starring Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, Bert Lahr, Jack Haley, Billie Burke, and Margaret Hamilton. Now, there were many others who made uncredited contributions to the film. The music was composed by Harold Arlen and adapted by Herbert Stoddart, with lyrics by Edgar Yip Harburg. The film was originally released on August 25th, 1939, just a couple weeks later after it made its premiere in Green Bay. This was celebrated for its use of Technicolor, fantasy storytelling, musical score, and memorable characters. It was a big success and was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. But unfortunately, it failed to make a profit for the studio until its re-release a decade later. Now, the film was primarily directed by Victor Fleming, who had led production of the film to take over the troubled Gone with the Wind, which the studio released the same year. But anyway, enough said about this. Let's get into our story. In rural Kansas, Dorothy Gale lives on a farm owned by her Uncle Henry and Aunt Em. Dorothy's neighbor, Elmira Gulch, who had been bitten by Dorothy's dog Toto, obtains a sheriff's order authorizing her to seize Toto. But he escapes and returns to Dorothy, who runs away to protect him. Professor Marvel, a charlatan fortune teller, persuades Dorothy to go home because Aunt Em is heartbroken. She returns just as a tornado approaches the farm. Unable to get into the locked storm cellar, Dorothy takes cover in the farmhouse and is knocked unconscious as the tornado lifts the house and drops it intact onto an unknown land. Dorothy awakens and is greeted by a good witch named Glinda, who floats down a bubble and explains that Dorothy has landed in Munchkin Land, in the land of Oz, and that the Munchkins are celebrating because the house landed on the Wicked Witch of the East. However, her sister, the Wicked Witch of the West, suddenly appears. Before she can seize her deceased sister's ruby slippers, Glinda magically transports them onto Dorothy's feet and tells her to keep them on. Because the Wicked Witch has no power in Munchkin Land, she leaves, but swears vengeance upon Dorothy and Toto. And Glinda tells Dorothy to follow the yellow brick road to Emerald City, the home of the Wizard of Oz, as he might know how to help her return home as the bubble makes her vanish and float away. Along the way, Dorothy meets the Scarecrow, who wants a brain, the Tin Man, who wants a heart, and the Cowardly Lion, who wants courage. The group reaches the Emerald Sea despite the efforts of the Wicked Witch. Dorothy is initially denied an audience with the wizard by his guard, but the guard relents due to Dorothy's grief. And the four are led into the wizard's chambers. The wizard appears as a giant ghostly head and tells them he will grant their wishes if they bring him the Wicked Witch's broomstick. During their quest, Dorothy and Toto are captured by flying monkeys and taken to the witch. But the ruby slippers, protect Dorothy, and Toto manages to escape, leading the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion into the castle. They free Dorothy but are pursued and finally cornered by the witch and her guards. The witch taunts them and sets fire to Scarecrow's arm. But when Dorothy throws a bucket of water onto the Scarecrow, she inadvertently splashes the witch, causing her to melt away. Now I'm going to do this final act and ending right now, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the procedure. 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below as I count down. Now, if you've seen this movie already, which I'm sure a lot of you have, please continue with. Okay, you've been warned. The witch's guards gratefully give Dorothy her broomstick, and the four return to the wizard, but he tells them to return tomorrow. When Toto pulls back the curtain, the wizard is revealed to be an ordinary man operating machinery that projects a ghostly image of his face. The four travelers confront him, who insists he is a good man at heart but confesses to being a humbug. He then grants the wishes of Dorothy's free friends, by giving them tokens to confirm that they have the qualities they sought. The wizard reveals that he, like Dorothy, is from Kansas and accidentally arrived in Oz in a hot air balloon. When he offers to take Dorothy back to Kansas with him aboard his balloon, she accepts. But Toad jumps off and Dorothy goes after him, and the balloon accidentally lifts off with just the wizard aboard. Glinda reappears and tells Dorothy she always had the power to return to Kansas using the ruby slippers, but had to find out for herself. After sharing a tearful farewell with her friends, Dorothy heeds Glinda's instructions by tapping her heels 3 times, repeating, "There's no place like home." Dorothy is transported back to Kansas, where she awakens in her own bed. Aunt Em attends to her while Uncle Henry and the farm hands, who are Hank, Hickory, and Zeke, stand by. Professor Marvel steps Well, he stops stops by, and Dorothy describes Oz, telling the farmhands and the professor they were there too. And they smile, humoring her. As Dorothy hugs Toad, she gratefully exclaims, "Oh, Aunt Em, there's no place like home in the story." So, what did I think of The Wizard of Oz? Easy. I love this movie. I have loved this movie since I was a kid, and it's always been one of my favorite films. This ended up being the oldest film I had ever seen. Of course, that is until it got beaten out by the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and the original Star is Born. The film made its broadcast premiere on CBS as it was reintroduced to the public. Apparently, it ended up being so successful, it got shown numerous times on the networks. To this day, The Wizard of Oz can be seen on the Turner networks, as Turner Entertainment had gotten distribution rights through MGM, and now of course Warner Brothers has it. And MGM as well as Warner Brothers would actually present it every single year, as it has been shown on TBS, TNT, and yes, even Cartoon Network more recently. Oh yeah, and Turner Classic Movies as well. It has been re-released several times as well for a few years. It's available on physical media on DVD and Blu-ray, which you can get for a good price. But anyway, I love this movie so much. I still find this movie has not aged a bit after 85 years since this came out. It was just so amazing. It went on to be nominated for 5 Academy Awards for Best Picture, and winning Best Original Song for Over the Rainbow and Best Original Score for Stoddard, which I must admit that was a really good score. And an Academy Juvenile Award was presented to Judy Garland herself. Anyway, this got a ton of great acclaim since it was released. Well, to this day, it's made 29 million at the box office, and it has been well reviewed numerous times and what have you. In 2018, it was named the most influential film of all time as a result of a study conducted by the University of Turin to measure the success and significance of 47,000 films from around the world using data from readers and audience polls, as well as internet sources such as the Internet Movie Database. It would top the list in their study, followed by the Star Wars franchise and the original Psycho and King Kong. And round out the top five, 2001: Space Odyssey, which that's a film I am long overdue to give you a review of, but I will sooner or later. The film has a good 98% score on Rotten Tomatoes, where they say an absolute masterpiece whose groundbreaking visuals and deft storytelling are still every bit as resonant. This film is a must see film for the young and old. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Metacritic has a good 92 score, which is good as well. But anyway, I really don't want to try to talk about this. But now, this film wasn't the first to utilize color, but the way in which the film was richly saturated with Technicolor proved that color can provide a magical element to fantasy films. And it was iconic for everything, including the "there's no place like home" phrase. And the film became a global phenomenon and is still well known to this day. Roger Ebert chose it as one of his great films. Writing the film has a wonderful surface of comedy and music, special effects, and excitement. But we still watch it 6 decades later, which that was from when he wrote this, when he was still alive, because its underlying story penetrates straight to the deepest insecurities of childhood, stirs them, and then reassures them. I agree. Anyway, yes, I feel like the music is so incredible and the story's real good. The effects are good, and what they use for makeup and costumes for some of the characters, like Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion, yes, they did so good. Anyway, there had been numerous sequels and reinterpretations of this. There was an actual official sequel, which was the animated film Journey Back to Oz, which featured Judy Garland's daughter Liza Minnelli following in her mother's footsteps, voicing Dorothy. Then there was an African American take on it, The Wiz, which was based on the novel, and it opened in Baltimore in 1974 and then in 1975 on Broadway, which would later become a movie in 1978 with Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and a host of others. There had also been a comic book adaptation of the film titled MGM's Marvelous Wizard of Oz, and which was the first co-production between both DC and Marvel. Incredible, huh? In 1985, Disney released Return to Oz, which was based on The Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozma of Oz, which I've already reviewed. And of course, we have Wicked coming up. In 2013, Disney released a spiritual prequel in Oz the Great and Powerful, which was done by Sam Raimi. And there was also an animated feature film in 2014 released independently, Legends of Oz Dorothy's Return, but was this big time. Which reminds me, I am going to point out now this that was to be my next video, but I'm actually going to postpone that. Since I know that film did so badly, but I am postponing the film to that film's review to next year. To early next year, okay? So I humbly apologize. I just feel like I just don't feel like I want to try and review a bad Oz movie. I want to review a good one, since I've already seen Wicked has gotten a ton of good reviews. Now, as for our cast, I never did stop to think about them. Anyway, Dorothy is, of course, played by Judy Garland. This is the film they introduced me to her, and was actually the only film I ever saw her in until I saw her in some other films like Mimi in St. Louis and the second remake of A Star is Born in 1954, which I thought was the best one. Playing the Wizard of Oz and Professor Marvel is Frank Morgan. I must say, he's really good. He actually plays a few other characters as well, as a matter of fact. Hunk, aka the Scarecrow, is Ray Bolger. He done some numerous acting. Zeke, aka the Cowardly Lion, is played by Bert Lahr. Fun fact: his character would actually have little impact on the inspiration for Hanna-Barbera's Snagglepuss, which of course was voiced by Daws Butler, who absolutely does a great job in voicing that character in the style of Bart Lahr. And Jack Haley plays Hickory and the Tin Man. Billie Burke played Glinda, who was absolutely good, and Margaret Hamilton played Miss Gulch and the Wicked Witch of the West. I say they were all really good, and the rest of the cast is good. The guys play Uncle Henry and the woman who play Aunt Em. They were all good, so I gotta give this film credit for what it had to offer. The Wizard of Oz, you cannot go wrong with this film. This film has absolutely no bad issues. No, 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 certainly not. Anyway, it ranks on critics' list as one of the greatest films of all time, as the most commercially successful adaptation of the works of L. Frank Baum, of course, based on his wonderful Wizard of Oz book. Excuse me. But nevertheless, The Wizard of Oz is absolutely superb. A great story with great characters, great atmosphere, great story, score, everything. This movie has everything to offer. So, would I recommend The Wizard of Oz? I'd say yes, go for it. Physical media, yeah, you can get for a good price. If you want to stream it, it's available on Max. If you subscribe to maybe TBS or TNT or heck, even True TV, they've actually got it there as well. But anyway, that's about it. That's about all I can say. So, what did you think of The Wizard of Oz? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow, make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel, give them to know me. May they like to be a part of my Big D Nation. And feel free to share my vids with your friends if you wish. Now, despite I postponing the Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return review to next year, next time, I'll be giving you the next Do You Remember, which I was going to do this Friday, and it'll be on Tales of the Wizard of Oz, one of the earliest animated series to be based on the works of the Wizard of Oz. And in its place, well, its original Friday spot I had planned it for will be a spoiler-free review of a special animated film that's coming out. I won't tell you what it is, but you'll be prepared for it. So if you like The Wizard of Oz, you can check out my reviews for these other two films I was just talking about. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Return to Oz from 1985. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Oz the Great and Powerful. Or if you would like maybe another kind of a fun-filled bit of a good thing, which is actually good for the holidays, you can check out my spoiler-free review of the new holiday flick, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.